Hi everyone! Today we are going to do an apple dump cake using fresh apples. I'm showing you how to use some ripened fruit so you don't have to throw it away. And this is a fast and easy recipe. Also, I'm going to show you what to do with those overripe bananas so you don't have to throw those away. So if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and the bell for the notification every time I download a video. Let's get going. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is to preheat that oven to 350 degrees. We have apples here. These apples need to be used. They're small, so I have about 10 apples. I have a yellow cake mix. You can use white cake mix or spice cake if you prefer. And I have a stick and a half of butter. And I have a 13 by 9 inch pan that I am going to spray grease to bake this in. So the first thing we want to do is to take some of those apples. You're going to need about 4 cups of chopped apples. So I start by peeling the apples, and as you can see, I struggle with this just a little bit. I need a new peeler desperately, and so this was not doing the trick, so I was going all different directions. I will not bore you while I peel all of these apples, but I do figure out a way to get through them a little bit quicker. So go ahead and peel them. And peel the entire bowl until you get, like I said, roughly about 4 cups chopped. As you can see, I figure it out and I'm going along. And I don't know, it seemed to go a lot quicker if I used it like a knife. The next thing you want to do is take some spray grease, or if you prefer not to use spray grease, you can also use butter and grease that pan good. The next step I did is I wanted to core my apples, and I have an apple corer. I found this at Walmart. I actually didn't even buy it for this purpose, but thought, hey, I'm going to use it for the right reasons now. So I went ahead and cored my apples so that I could just chop right through them. You do not have to do this step if you do not have an apple corer. Just peel your apples and cut them the way you would any other time. So here they are. They're all done. They're all cored, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop these up. And I chopped them roughly in about, I don't know, I think most of them were like 1/2 inch cubes. You can do whatever you prefer. If you like them a little finer, you can do fine. If you like them a little chunkier, you can do chunky. So I just continue until I get all of these apples chopped. I don't know about you, but I tend to buy bags of apples and I eat about halfway through them, and then I let them go, and then they get soft and mushy and I throw them away. So I wanted to prevent wasting. I'm not a waster. So this is why I decided to go ahead and make this dump cake, because it's simple, easy, and I had the fruit to do it. So I continue chopping, and then I add a couple little extra ingredients. I have cinnamon here. These are just choices you have. I had cinnamon in my cupboard. I have a pumpkin pie spice. You can use that. There's also apple pie spice. And then this is a blend from Pampered Chef. It's like a cinnamon blend. I choose in this recipe to use the cinnamon blend because I think it has some other spices in it, and then add an extra bit of cinnamon to it. I also use some pure vanilla extract, and I don't get my measuring spoons out. I just use the cap. So I use about 2 capfuls. That's just for some extra flavor. That is not typically used in a dump cake, but I put it in there anyway just to give it that little bit of extra yumminess. Now I'm going to put my Pampered Chef spice blend. Like I said, you can use pumpkin pie spice or apple pie spice instead. And then I add some extra cinnamon because I like that little zing of cinnamon, and then it reminds me more of like an apple pie. So now take your clean hands, and you're going to just use your hands and go right through these. Now, I do suggest, if your apples are not super juicy like mine were not, you can add a little bit of extra liquid to this. In that case, you could like toss these with a little bit of flour or cornstarch, and then add either some juice or some water to it if you like it to have a little bit more liquid to it. But I did not do that step. Now I'm going to melt the butter, and we are going to add our cake mix. Like I said, you can substitute this for a yellow cake mix or a white cake mix, and I've even used spice cake. So whatever you prefer. If you have a carrot cake mix, you can even use that. I am not one that follows the rules when it comes to cooking. I kind of just do my own thing. But I did do the traditional thing, and I added my yellow cake mix dry on top. You do not add any moisture to this. Your moisture will be your butter that you're adding. In the case that you do not have apples to use, you may use apple pie filling. So I would say about 2 cans of that. But I wanted to make this as fresh as possible. So go ahead and spread that out. There it is. It's all covered. You can see I try to cover it. You don't stir this in. You just kind of place it on top. But I cover it pretty consistently. Here's the butter. This is 30 seconds of melting. I like to do it in 30-second increments. I ended up doing 2 30-second increments, so a minute. Then you take this melted butter and you pour it over the top as evenly as possible. My suggestion is I would probably increase this to a full cup of butter. I know that sounds bad, so do the 3/4 cups if you want to. But for a little bit more juice, a little bit more tenderness, you can up that to 2 cubes instead of 1 melted pour over the top. I think I did, and I did not put it on video, I added a little bit more butter. Now you're going to stick this into the oven at 350 degrees for roughly 50 to 55 minutes. If it's not brown enough on top for you, you can broil the top a little bit when it's all done, just to give it that little extra crunch on top to make it more like a streusel. But this is as easy as can be. I was going to say as easy as pie. Anyway, I'm scooping it out. It is still steaming hot, which is definitely the way I like to eat it. So I do a couple scoops. As you can see, I'm holding a camera with my right hand and scooping with my left, so it's not the cleanest scoop you've ever seen. But I go ahead and take big spoonfuls, 2, and put them on a plate. Now this can be served with the vanilla bean ice cream, French vanilla ice cream. It can be served with basically any type of ice cream you like. Have like an a la mode. I did not have any ice cream on hand, so I prefer to use the Ready Whip. If I was going to eat it maybe after a big meal, I might do the ice cream, but I am just eating this as a snack. And so I use the Ready Whip on top. You could sprinkle some cinnamon on top of that Ready Whip if you want to, but this was such an amazing dessert. I'm so glad I got a chance to make it, and I hope you do as well. Leave comments below what you would do different or anything you would add or subtract to this recipe. So now we are going to move on to my special tip of the day, which is what to do with your bananas that are overripe. These are way overripe for me. I like my bananas yellow to green, and so now it is time for me to do something so I do not have to throw them away. I do not like to waste food. I have a big Ziploc freezer baggie, and I am going to chop these up and put them in this baggie and stick them in the freezer. The good thing about this is I use them for my protein smoothies in the morning, or you can keep them in the freezer and you can use them for banana bread. I also like to use these in place in recipes for any oil to give it a little bit more moisture. But the funny thing is when I get these bananas out of my freezer, guess who wants one? My 80-pound lab. She loves frozen bananas as a treat. So a lot of times when I'm getting my banana out in the morning, if she is here, because she goes to work with my husband, she will come to me and she will say, "Mama, please," just with her eyes sitting and begging. So I do give her a chunk of frozen banana because she loves it. And I don't know, I just find that that's a pretty healthy treat for her. So I'm going along and I'm peeling these. As you can see, I cut them off the stem. And depending on the size of your bananas, you can cut them in half or you can cut them in thirds. If they're really big bananas, I guess you could cut them in fourths. Maybe dog-sized treats could be in fourths. But I go ahead and I just continue peeling and cutting these bananas. And they're perfect right now, actually, for my smoothies and if you wanted to make a banana bread. But just go ahead and see, they look great. You have different sizes. The smaller ones are the ones that I feed to my dog. And then every now and then if I make a protein smoothie, I may use a larger half and then a smaller like quarter of one, but stick them in that baggie, and then you are going to want to date when you're sticking them in the freezer. Now, typically I don't date mine because I use them so fast, but if you're someone that won't use them fast, put the date on those so you know when you stuck them in, and stick those in the freezer, and they are ready to go. So here's some bananas that I have had frozen. They're in a smaller baggie, and that's what they look like, and they're great to take out and use. So I hope you enjoyed this tip of the day. This is something that I do often to not throw my bananas away. I find that a lot of people do. So here is that yummy apple dump cake. It's delicious. It makes your house smell great, and it is a great treat. It's fast. It's easy if you have friends coming over. A great dessert overall. Again, you can serve it with vanilla ice cream, which is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hit that like button, and please share. Have a great day. God bless.